Hello, everyone. I'm Lana Zak. Thank you so much for joining me. Fighting has intensified between the Israeli military and Hamas militants in Gaza. Israeli Defense Forces, the IDF, conducted an airstrike on a prominent high-rise building in Gaza City on Saturday. The bombing leveled the structure, which had housed several media outlets, including the Associated Press and al-Jazeera. The IDF says fighter jets struck the building because it, quote, contained military assets belonging to the intelligence offices of the Hamas terror organization. It also states it gave sufficient warning before the bombing so civilians could evacuate. Israeli officials say they will hold a briefing about the airstrike Saturday afternoon. The White House has not issued an official statement on the attack. However, President Biden has reportedly spoken with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Palestinian President Abbas. Earlier, the White House press secretary, Jen Psaki, tweeted, quote, "We have communicated directly to the Israelis that ensuring the safety and security of journalists and independent media is a paramount responsibility." The White House is expected to release more information about the situation later this afternoon. The president of the Associated Press expressed tremendous shock that the building was targeted, saying, quote, "We narrowly avoided a terrible loss of life. A dozen AP journalists and freelancers were inside the building, and thankfully we were able to evacuate them in time." The latest offensive comes just hours after a separate airstrike was carried out in a house in Gaza City. At least 10 people were killed, many were children. It followed a barrage of rockets fired from Gaza into Israel. CBS News foreign correspondent Imtiaz Tyab has more on the recent escalation in violence.
Israel's air and ground assault on Gaza continues with a ferocity unlike anything seen before. Overnight, several areas of the densely populated Palestinian territory, home to 2 million people, were pounded in strikes, wreaking havoc. This father clutches the lifeless body of his child, screaming, "What has this baby ever done?" Across Gaza, and more horror as the death toll surges to nearly 140, including 39 children. While in Israel, another night of incoming Hamas rocket fire. So far, 9 Israelis have been killed, including a 5-year-old. Governments around the world are pushing hard for a ceasefire. Mark Regev, a senior advisor to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, says there's no chance.
We think a premature cessation of hostilities only plays into Hamas's strategy.
So you have refused?
We are not ready for a ceasefire that allows Hamas time to regroup, rest, and then to attack us again tomorrow or next week.
In East Jerusalem, where this all began, a night of intense confrontations between Palestinian protesters and Israeli forces. While in the occupied West Bank, similar scenes as hundreds of Palestinians took to the streets against Israel's provocations in Jerusalem and its assault on Gaza. On Friday alone, 10 Palestinian protesters were killed in the clashes with Israeli soldiers. It's hard to imagine there's a potentially more serious crisis unfolding in the background of all this unrest. But across Israel, in mixed Arab and Jewish cities, there's been several nights of horrific communal violence.
And CBS News foreign correspondent Imtiaz Tyab joins me now from Tel Aviv for more. Imtiaz, good to see you looking well. You have been in and out of bomb shelters along with your crew as the violence there has escalated. Tell us what you're experiencing on the ground.
Hey, Lana, good to talk to you. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Very tense day for people living here in Tel Aviv. In a period of only around 30 minutes, there were 3 instances of essentially air raid sirens ringing across this city. People, of course, fleeing into these bunkers, which are found all over this city. Our team was were some of those people. We had to run into a bunker a couple of times today. While we were sheltering inside of them, we could hear bang after bang. Of course, Israel has a missile intercept system known as Iron Dome, as those rockets from Hamas were being fired into the city. A number of those were intercepted, but some fell on Tel Aviv. In fact, in the suburb of Tel Aviv, about 20 minutes from where I am now in Ramat Gad, a rocket fell into a busy intersection, destroying a number of buildings and killing one man. And this is pretty extraordinary to see. We have never seen a Hamas rocket not only land in Tel Aviv in the way that it did, but cause so much damage. Now, while we were there, and I do also want to point out that shell, that rocket, if you will, was only about half a mile from where we were sheltering. So when we turned up less than 10 minutes later, you could imagine it was just a scene of carnage. We were talking to people there who were telling us that they couldn't believe what was happening, but more importantly, they just wanted the fighting to stop. Lana.
Well, I want to ask you also about the Israeli airstrike that downed a high-rise building that housed several media outlets. What more do we know about this bombing?
Yeah, this is a tough one, and it's kind of personal for me as well. I lived in this country for a number of years, reported on Gaza for a number of years, and I worked in that building for a number of years. That building housed the BBC, Al-Jazeera, the Associated Press, but it also housed around 60 families. It was a residential and media building, and that building has been reduced to rubble. Now, Israel says that they believe that there was a Hamas intelligence agency operating from within that building. We have heard from the owner of that building who categorically refuses that assertion. But of course, we've also heard anger from the Associated Press, from Al Jazeera, and of course from other broadcasters who see this really as an assault on press freedom. Now, we should say that nobody was killed as this building was toppled. We understand that Israel fired a warning rocket, what's known as a knock, around 45 minutes before that building came down. But Lana, we have to remember, this was a 15-story building in the heart of Gaza, which is a very small place, densely populated, so for it to come down in the way is pretty astonishing to see. And as we've been saying, it's of course caused an awful lot of anger right around the world and has caused alarm in Washington. We understand that the White House is deeply concerned by that attack.
Yeah, and as you say, no one was killed in that particular strike, but there have been other casualties, and they are heartbreaking. As you mentioned earlier, Imtiaz, you said people that you've been speaking with there just want the fighting to stop, and the UN Security Council is set to meet tomorrow as world leaders call for that violence to stop. The meeting comes as Hamas and Israeli officials say that they are both open to discussing terms on a possible ceasefire agreement. And I understand historically violence often ramps up between the two sides leading up to these types of discussions. So what should we expect to happen between now and tomorrow's hearing?
Yeah, that's really good insight there, Lana. You're absolutely right. I was in Gaza in 2014 during that 50-day war in which 2,300 Palestinians were killed, 67 Israeli soldiers were killed. It was a brutal conflict. It was a long conflict. And when it finally ended, there's a really sharp uptick of violence from both Hamas and from Israel as well. Many are hoping that what we've seen today with this strike in Tel Aviv and with the violence we've seen in Gaza, not only that building going down, but a number of civilians were killed. In fact, the largest number of civilians were killed just last night in the Shati refugee camp. 10 people, 2 women, 8 children, all from one family were killed in that strike. And Hamas's armed wing saying what we saw in Tel Aviv was retaliation for that strike. Whatever the case, getting back to the central question of whether a ceasefire will happen, we do know that Hamas said to Israel, hey, we're ready for a ceasefire, and Israel said no. In fact, we spoke to Mark Regev, who's a senior advisor for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu just yesterday, and he said that a ceasefire wasn't on the cards. But with this international pressure growing, we have a number of Arab countries really pushing for this. We have a number of European countries pushing for this. And now the kind of concern we're hearing from Washington, there could be some sort of what's described here as a cessation of hostility. Many people are hoping that will happen. But again, when it comes to these conflicts, particularly in this part of the world, it's really so unpredictable.
Yeah, and we also know that in addition to official channels, there's also the violence that we've seen breaking out in the streets between Arabs and Jews living in Israel side by side, sometimes peacefully as neighbors, and then at other times what we're seeing right now. Imtiaz, take care of yourself, and all of our best wishes for everyone there.
Thank you.